Viewers getting a look into the mind of a madman, the man who pulled off one of the greatest financial cons in American history. That's Bernard Madoff. Madoff, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Blythe, tells the story of the rise and fall of Bernie Madoff and the people he took down with him. I sat down with Dreyfuss and Danner this week and first asked Dreyfuss what it was like to play someone as evil and manipulating as Bernie Madoff.
Actors rarely get a chance to play someone so vivid and complex and simple and straightforward and so impactful. You know, it's like, who is the guy that changed the world? Bernie Madoff. All right, play him for 4 hours. Okay, all right. Yes.
And what about you, Blythe? I mean, when you look at Ruth, she really takes on different emotions during this film, because at some point she finally says to herself, and she says to him, why?
Right. Well,
why did you do this? But initially she was sort of not getting it.
I don't think she had a clue. Right. And speaking of, you know, having a good wig and good glasses helps a lot.
You look like her. You look like her.
Yeah, makeup and hair was very important, and props. Yeah, I don't think that she knew. She'd been with this man and in love with him since she was 16. Her entire life, you know, she was with him, and incrementally she saw this climb to the top financially where they were. But I don't, and there may have been some, if there were any suspicions at all, I think it was just that the life was so full, and so I didn't think she questioned it. You know, as she, what if she had? I wonder, would I have? Well, I mean, I'd like to think I would have taken the moral stand, but I don't know. I don't know.
You think you would have taken the moral stand against your dad or your husband?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, I'd like to think that I would have.
Well, this is important. So tell me how you met them. I mean, did you spend any time with Bernie? Yeah, okay.
Turned it down.
Turned it down?
Yep.
Why?
Because I realized, what was he going to do? Tell me the truth?
Crooks are a dime a dozen.
You know, he couldn't, he couldn't and wouldn't tell me the things he wouldn't tell his wife and his children. He wouldn't tell me the things he wouldn't tell the federal prosecutors. So if he's not going to tell me that, and he's not going to tell me his legal strategy, which includes that, then why am I on the phone with him?
Good for you. That's very principled of you.
Well, it's efficient, you know. I didn't want to be for, you know, an hour and a half on the phone with him. He was already the focus of so much, and I didn't want to reward him with another hour and a half that he could put into the prison paper.
Yeah, really interesting. And how was meeting Ruth?
It was extraordinary. I mean, when I met her, we were both sort of vibrating with emotion, you know. It was just quite, for me, it was quite revelatory. And she was, how do you talk to someone who's lost both of their children and have insight into that, you know, the wounded. But I found her to be a wonderful person, a grandmother who was adored by her grandchildren, her ex-daughter-in-law. I was at her home, and it was extraordinary that she was even able to talk to me.
So you saw her as one of the biggest victims here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her sons.
And her sons.
So it sounds like there was more in this for you than just playing a role in another film for you. This was important to you for a reason, politically.
Yeah, and that's why I made it, and that's why people should watch it, because if we only made a movie, we failed. If we made a movie that got people looking at one another and saying, this happened while, where were we? Are we that deaf, dumb, and blind? Where were the people to stop this?
My thanks to Blythe, Danner, and Richard Dreyfuss. Part 2 of Madoff airs tonight on ABC.